9, 12, 14, etc. Anyway, so the first group is all the stuff that is non-exempt debt. The second group is the exempt debt, and you add the debt service for both of these together, you have our total debt service, which is $4,028,000. That's better than it looked like in October. In October, it was $4,090,000, and the reason is half a year's worth of the refinancing on the non-exempt debt. Sorry, on the exempt debt, on that school bond. So that's what it is there. So if you look at it more closely, our total is better by $62,000. That's because the exempt is $80,000 better than it was, and the non-exempt is $19,000 worse. I'm not sure why. I understand why the exempt debt got cheaper, the debt service on that. I'm not sure why the non-exempt debt got marginally more expensive. But I'm going to chase Jim and Lisa down on that.
Yeah, it probably has to do with a coupon rate going up and down. If you look at the bonds, this school bond now, it's a flat 2% for the next 10 years.
Oh, yeah, but I'm looking at not school bonds.
But even the not school bonds, every issuing coupons on a flat rate in a lot of them. A lot of them will start with a teaser rate of 2%, and they'll go up to 3, 4, then they'll come down again. So it depends what year you're in on each individual bond. They could have a variable floating rate on each from year to year.
Yeah. No, it was just, I mean, on this analysis, on the October analysis, one of the issues was generating $615,987 worth of debt service, and on the new analysis, it's generating exactly $10,000 more. Okay, I don't know. It just seems odd. So
just give me the numbers that.
Yeah, no.
I have Lisa coming in tomorrow to pick up the bonds, and I can run it through her.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, she's coming at 2:30.
2:30. Okay.
Like
Nothing like FaceTime for getting these questions answered. Anyway, no, that'd be great. I'll send this to you before, though.
Okay.
So that'd be great. But anyway, it's good news for non-exempt debt. Not so good news for putting a little more pressure on our general fund by $19,000 compared to what I had, and we'll figure that out. So I don't know. I sent you about 6 different spreadsheets on the most recent bond issue,
Yeah.
or the refinancing of the school bond, and this stuff here. This is worth looking at simply because it tells you what.
I'll show you one.
It tells you what we've been, what do we typically put out to bond? Surface drains. A lot of surface drains. Then you get to something like wind turbines, and you go, really? Anyway, that's another story. We'll have to ask the selectmen about that someday.
a lot of trucks.
Fire trucks, a lot of trucks. This item here, Pickens, that's the firefighter who...
They're doing an override on that this year.
Yep, exactly.
That's actually, should be an easy override to get through, because it'll save the town money by doing it that way. Because you're not going to be paying interest costs.
No, should be a no-brainer for anybody once it's properly explained. And anyway, so this is just good. You can see, a backup generator now. Okay, that was the DPW.
Ductwork.
High school ductwork. This was unfortunate, but there it
That was
is.
value engineered to begin with.
Roads, not enough for roads. A little bit for cemetery roads, the roads in the cemetery, they have to be repaved once in a while. Anyway, so it'll give you a good idea to see what's out there, so.
Where'd you get that, Ted?
I got it from Jim.
Lisa, and I forwarded it on.
2 days ago.
Lisa?
Yeah.
I sent it to you.
Yeah, it was too big to print.
I'm bonding a new printer.
For the Warrant Committee. Anyway.
Talk to the Board of Health. Make a deal.
So, does anybody have any questions for Jim on debt service, or where we're going with it, or how it gets put together?
So I know that the Board of Selectmen came up with a formula where they want to stick to lose 1.9% a year. So they figure the next bonding they want to do is in August of 16. So this year, we're going to ban the water projects that were voted in October. The new water tanks to level off the water service, and about $5 million worth there. So we're going to ban that until 16, and then also some of the capital expenses from last year. As that comes up, they're going to also ban that. And they'll do short-term borrowings up to the point where you have enough to do a long-term bond.
So this, sorry, Steve. Be right with you. So this particular debt service schedule doesn't show any bans or
It doesn't show any
bond
bans.
anticipatory notes. And you're talking about the need for some of those
Yeah.
through fiscal year 16. Is there any way you can get me
We're
an
hoping to get
estimate
some
on-
numbers, but I have to get Joe Lynch to give me a cash flow on when he's going to need the money. And I think he'll need some before the end of this year, and we'll float them into next year. If we could put them off to next year, we could put that cost into 16, which would be,
Okay, well, that's great, but we're looking at 16 right now.
no, but I'm talking, if we borrow them after July 1st, we can get that for a year, that ban for a year, and we won't incur those till 17.
Okay,
So we don't know at this point when he's gonna need that money, but I think he's gonna need some of it this fiscal year.
okay, because,
But we may be able to bond that out to 17.
right, well, if you can chase Joe on getting me a possible ban dollar number
Yeah,
for fiscal year 16, that would be great.
yeah, I was talking to Lisa today on that, and she said, we just need a cash flow statement on when he's gonna need this money, so we can put a plan together.
Take over, Steve.
And can we structure those so that if 18 months is a long time,
Yeah,
and interest rates could jump up
Yeah.
before then, and if you're locked in under the terms of a ban, that you're stuck, unable to refund them or to get out of them. You know, and you see we've got bans issued, we
Yeah.
start to see interest rates creeping up quickly, we wanna be able to get out of those bans and into the longer term stuff, so that it doesn't cost us money.
yeah, they don't wanna do another bonding till August 16. You know, that's.
So what?
I know,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
that's,
if the things are going north,
Yeah.
and you've got those expenses looking in the face, you go anyway whether you'd like to or not.
yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that, but this is the selectmen's plan and the town accountant's plan that it fits into their 1.9% figure they came up with. I mean, it's an arbitrary number,
Yeah.
but that's what their plan's looking like right now.
Okay, the 1.9% number Jim's talking about is 1.9% of our tax revenue is being allocated to debt service for non-exempt debt. And last year, we exceeded that by quite a bit, and this year, we look to be exceeding it, well, by 62,000 plus the 19 that I just got news on, so about $80,000 greater than 1.9%, or 1.9% target. is the 1.9% sufficient for the needs of this community? Probably not. But then you would have to say, okay, instead of 1.4 million a year on debt service, we'd like to spend 2 million a year on debt service. Well, where are you going to get that 600,000 on a yearly basis? I think probably that is, I mean, it's not a very sexy thing for an override, but it really ought to be part of one to increase the borrowing capacity of the town, because things are expensive, and if you can't afford them, then they get put off, and it doesn't happen, and then they get more expensive. So I think that's something that we need to look at as a committee, and
then the
come up with a
rates
recommendation.
can't stay this low.
Right. So we're going to be able to buy the same amount of stuff
Right.
for more money. So
Later, yeah.
later, right? Darnell?
Question, so, are we gonna see the 5-year plan presentation, or are they gonna put that together so we can know if, it makes sense to raise from the 1.9? Or, I mean, if all that work was put in, I think it would be helpful
I know I
to
keep telling you
figure
this.
out what was done, or what they came up with, or what kind of, you know, I mean, 'cause realistically, it's like, you know,
I know I keep telling you this, that we're going to be invited to a presentation of the 5-year plan any minute now. And
we're halfway through the
tell you
budget
what.
process.
Before Monday, well, we've never had it. We didn't have a 5-year plan last year,
But that stopped us from doing so much
Right.
stuff, didn't it?
probably. So I'll tell you what, before Monday, I'll either have a date for you, or I will have material for you. Because I've been told February is the month, minimum. So, we'll see.
Waiting here.
Anyway, and yeah, I mean, obviously, capital projects should be a big part of the 5-year presentation. Don't know, haven't seen it. So, anything else for Jim, or can we let him go
Thank you,
home?
Jim.
So it's good to come get up last. I'll come back next year.
Thank you,
Thank
Jim.
you.
I certainly
Jim.
appreciate your coming by, Jim,
Thanks,
and
Jim.
Good luck putting it together.
All right.
I'll send this stuff to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, if I get that, because when
Right.
it comes out, it'll be
Right.
questions.
Great. Very nice.
You sent it out, and I
Sure.
thought, it was my favorite one, but I don't understand it. No.
Whoa, you
It's the
just
yield.
left.
I know, I didn't want to keep everybody, so if it's not important, then I'm not gonna make any.
Okay, it's comparing the bond we just reissued to a benchmark of other bonds, I
Okay.
believe.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
and it would appear that
They're
for
neck and
part of
neck.
that curve, we're doing better than the
Yeah.
benchmark.
Yeah,
And I think that's what that is. And now, what benchmark it is, I'm not familiar with it. It's Mass Municipal.
MMD,
So,
it says,
that's the generic
Okay,
yeah,
It's the
AAA.
US Treasury
yield.
market for tax exempt bonds. So
Okay.
that's, you compare everything to the MMD,
But they're all
AAA
Yeah.
MMD.
All of the municipal.
but anyway, that is sort of proof that we didn't get snookered by whoever issued our bond.
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks,
so
yeah. Looks like we're
We're
nose and
looking good.
nose there,
we're looking
at the
good.
finish race.
Yep. Okay, the only other thing I have on the agenda is actually a quick review of the articles, the new articles for the Maytown warrant. And so I'd like to go through those just very quickly so that we all have an understanding of what's coming at us, to whom we need to speak about these things, who do we want to invite, stuff like that. So, I did send this out to everybody. I did not make copies for everybody. Sorry, that's not it. Here we go. 2015 annual town meeting articles.
You know what date you sent it?
This
Probably
morning?
about a week ago.
Last week.
and
Last
a half
week?
ago.
It was last week.
Yeah. Anyway, never mind. I'll tell you about them.
Okay.
So, um, so the first item, new, and there are, I think I've got 17, as I said. Also, I can beam them up, but I'm not sure it's worth it. Is it worth it?
New articles.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it.
Come on, it wouldn't take me that long to find them. Come on, jeez. All right. Okay, so the first one is access road transfer. And this is to see if the town will vote to transfer care, custody, management, and control from the Board of Selectmen for municipal dump purposes to the Board of Selectmen for general municipal purposes of the former landfill access road.
Oh, we
Okay.
did this last.
Didn't include the road.
They forgot to include the road
Oh,
first time
God.
around. So now we gotta make sure that the road is
It was
included.
just that little parcel.
change-
last-
Yeah, we did the land, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
didn't do the road.
Whoops.
You know, I mean, I didn't know that the road was so designated, you know, or so restricted before. But apparently it was, so this, anyway, so this should be more of an embarrassment than anything else, but it should be pretty easy. However, we will,
Does it include what's under the road as well, just in case?
anyway.
We should have a site walk, I think, shouldn't we, sir?
Sidewalk.
Soon, Saturday maybe. Anyway, I'm sure that this time around, Bill Clark will bring us a map, because I will ask him to, so we know what we're talking about. And we are seeing Bill on Monday, the 9th of February, right after we speak to the library. And he will go over any of these articles after we go over the planning budget, which is,
Fund what?
the planning board budget is 30,000, something like that. So that won't take time, but we will have him to go over all these articles. Steve?
Can we have him explain why a road would need to be transferred from being used for dump purposes to being used for non-dump purposes? Since it's a road, you could traverse it anyway. It doesn't.
We can try. We will ask, we'll ask.
What was the rationale? I got the other part when we
Right,
were
the land.
transferring the land.
Right.
This is a road.
Sure.
It's a little
I
sketchy.
think maybe because the road was built on land that had been designated,
Yeah, or there's just probably some legal.
but
Use isn't changing. Still being used
it's
as
still being
road.
used as a road. I don't know, it may be splitting hairs. Anyway, Darnell?
Yeah, and that's if there's any other underlying or issues that might be let's say not attained, but maybe attached to it that we might need to know about, or others might have complaints about, so that we can elicit other portions of the community to talk with us about them before
Right.
we get into town meeting.
So, question number one, are you kidding me? And question number two, is this related to anything that we should know about?
That's basically
Okay.
it, because I'm like,
All
I
right.
get into town meeting floor and then have 10 people ask us, why didn't you ask this question? I'm like,
Right.
did I
No,
have any
no, and it
knowledge?
shouldn't be our job to think of all, I mean, you know, the information should be forthcoming, and we
Right,
shouldn't have to
that's so.
ask questions. Okay. All right, the next article, town administrator. Okay.
Date of the email was?
This is submitted by the Board of Selectmen and the Town Government Study Committee. We are fortunate that we have a member of the Town Government Study Committee here. You thought I forgot. Anyway, so if my quick précis doesn't hit the mark, you can fill in. Great.
Wednesday, last Wednesday.
This is
Last Wednesday.
my understanding, okay, I'm not going to read this thing, it's half a page.
I can give a quick overview if you like.
That'd be grand,
Okay.
thanks.
The purpose of this article is to invests the town administrator position with more authority and responsibility. It's what we're calling the strong administrator article for the town of Milton. It is patterned after some other articles that some other communities have. Yeah, we met with a consultant from the Mass Municipal Association last week in a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen and got input on what they thought would make sense. It is to offload from the Board of Selectmen a lot of the day-to-day stuff that our current bylaw requires them to essentially make in public session, which really could be performed by a town administrator if that person had the authority to do it. They have offloaded some responsibility in the last 6 months, but since that's not in the bylaw, it would be subject to change by each successive Board of Selectmen. So it really, there's no consistency there. The duties being considered are quite strong. It's a very strong enhancement to that office. We have 2 members of the Government Study Committee working as a subcommittee, meeting with the chair of the Board of Selectmen to come up with language that will be contained in the recommendation. That will be very specific that the town can consider. We're hoping to see it in our committee on Monday, the 26th, because we need to get to consensus as soon as possible. So I would think that, if not next week, the week after, there should be language for us to look at and consider.
Okay, that's great. I just want to interject before I call on Steve and then Darnell. That probably after this review here, we're probably not going to be talking much about any of these until about February 18th, or perhaps even the first week of March. Depends on what we get done budgetarily. So, Steve.
You may not know this, but you said that the current duties are prescribed in bylaw.
No, I'm saying the current duties that have been added and offloaded to the administrator to make that a stronger position are not in the bylaw. So they're subject to change from
There are some
any.
set of them in the bylaw that describe.
It's very
the-
vague.
So why the
very
extra
vague.
step of petitioning the general court instead of just changing the town bylaw?
You either have to do it by charter change or you have to do it by a petition to the state legislature. That's the only way we can do it. One of those 2 ways. And opening a charter review opens up everything for free-for-all, so we'll have to go through the state legislative process.
Change the town bylaw, you have to petition the general court. Change other bylaws and don't petition the general court.
Can you think of one?
Zoning bylaws,
Zoning bylaws are different.
apparently. There you go. So other bylaws are set in stone unless except by act of
That's my
legislature.
understanding. I mean, I don't know what difference it makes. We have to do
Right,
what the town council is telling us we have to do.
right. Fascinating. Darnell and then Kevin.
I would like to have, once the committee has come to their conclusion of what they want this to read and state and come to their opinion, to have those committee members come and do a presentation.
Of course.
In front of us.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think an article could do it justice. And I would love to have that, if we're gonna make a decision for pro or con, on whether we support it, to have this body, not now until take it after, have a full vetting of that, because I think there'll be quite a few interesting issues.
I think
That
you'll be
should be
surprised at how
raised, yeah.
specific the recommendation will be. But it was always the plan that we would come and support the article before this committee, as well as the selectmen.
And This is a suggested recommendation. The
Yeah.
recommendation is ours.
Right.
No, I'm saying, no,
So-
no, I'm saying, I want the article itself. I want to, not a recommendation, I'm talking about the article itself.
Well, you've got the
To give
article.
to give us the information that led up to the article, some more information about the
Oh, sure.
article and stuff, because, we say a strong, town administrator position, that's broad. But we also want to know what fed into it and, have questions and things to that nature as well. Because that information will help in making a decision whether we want to support or oppose this whole thing as well.
Right. Well, this is, the article you see here will require someone to write a recommendation, and the Town Government Study Committee is going to suggest a recommendation and write it and submit it to us. We can change it.
Yeah, I understand that,
Okay.
but I want to understand what brought that article to us.
With the
Right.
background.
Also, with the background of that article and
Absolutely.
what brought it to us. And I think that's be something
So-
interesting and give the town the vetting for it as well.
There are a lot of articles in here that came from the Town Government Study Committee. So we'll probably spend a whole evening with the Town Government Study Committee. Rick Neely and beyond Rick, I don't actually know who's on it.
Leroy Walker,
Okay,
John Cronin,
okay,
um, Bob Hiss,
great.
Kathy Fagan,
Peter Mullen,
Peter Mullen, Mary McNamara.
So all these people who have been heavy hitters in town have been warrant committee chairman and whatever. Anyway.
Excellent, man.
So, might be fun. Anyway, we'll get them all in here and we'll go through half of these articles because half of them came from the Town Government Study Committee. Kevin?
Yeah, my question's along the same lines as Darnell. This article is being submitted by
The Board of Selectmen and the Town Government Study Committee.
together.
That's what it says. Yeah.
Okay. My question really is, who initiated this originally? Was this an idea the Board of Selectmen had and went to the Town Government Study Committee, or was it vice versa? Or did the Board of Selectmen get this idea from the DOR and then went to the Town Government Study Committee? I just want to know what role the Board of Selectmen had in the initiation process of the whole thing.
The Government Study Committee recommended this 2 years ago and sent a detailed description of what they thought the responsibility should be to the selectmen.
Was this at their own initiation?
At the Government Study Committee's initiation, but they were looking at the DOR report when they were studying it. So I think that was a push in that direction. That original suggestion languished, and then I think more recently, in the past year, the Board of Selectmen also thought that it should be looked at, and then they started working on their draft. We were working on our draft, and we decided that we needed to get together to come up with a joint, agreed-upon draft for the duties.
Good.
Yeah, I'm not sure whose initiative it was initially. The DOR report came out after your initial town government study report, but I don't recall that there was anything in it about this position. So, but anyway, I'm not sure which came first. So, maybe you can tell us which came first.
I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't on the committee at the time, so.
But there is a template for this position. In other words, we're not.
There are a
we're not-
lot of templates. There are a
we're
lot of
not
towns who have
spot zoning
gone.
this, are we?
There are a lot of,
Are we creating a job tailor-made to Milton?
No.
No, 'cause this
Okay.
was part of DOR when
No.
they came and talked about adding all these positions. I remember in the DOR report, it was like, well, we needed, to add, not only a town administrator, but a financial town, assistant town administrator, and then a secondary, operational or assistant
No.
administrator, and
but this isn't a new
Quite a
position.
few,
This isn't
yeah.
a current position with added responsibilities and duties.
So the corollary question that we'll have is, well, okay, that's all fine and good, and that'd be terrific, and you're going to put all these duties, new duties on the existing position. Is that new strong town administrator instantly going to have to turn around and hire an assistant to handle all this? Maybe,
Maybe.
yeah. So, anyway, And that'll be something for us to consider, because it might be great for greater efficiency for the town, but it might be more money. So, well, it will be more money. Okay, so the next article, 3. This is an audit committee article. It is also from the Town Government Study Committee, and it almost got to town meeting before. It almost got up to us year and a half ago.
Yeah, I don't remember the history of this one, why it didn't get moved
Okay,
at the time.
so it came out, I think it was a year and a half ago, and shortly after, well, it would have been submitted to the warrant in August, and that fall, the Department of Revenue report came out, and the Department of Revenue report on, essentially this report, by the way, back in the fall. It's the Milton Financial Review, I think it's called, MFR or something like that. Anyway, it was done by the Division of Local Services of the Department of Revenue. And its recommendations for the town and its audit committee far exceeded the article that the Town Government Study Committee had submitted. And for that reason, the article was pulled from the warrant. And, you know, with the thought that, well, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. So this is the result. I'm glad it came back. I was wondering what happened to it. And it's basically to reinvigorate the audit process as an integral function of the financial workings of the town. So, anyway.
Yeah, we used to have an
About
audit
it?
committee, but it was not
Okay.
an audit committee established in our bylaws. It became sort of defunct, and then it was sunsetted because it's not a permanent committee established by the bylaws. So this will make it a permanent established committee, as outlined in the language, and it gives them power to set the rules and interview potential audit firms each year, and to make the recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. And one of the things that we insisted on being in it is the paragraph that says, "The audit committee shall report to the annual town meeting," meaning through the annual report, not necessarily a report of the town meeting, on ongoing compliance with management letters and internal control recommendations. One of the things that we saw in the reports from the auditors were things in their recommendation letter that were recurring year after year after year and weren't really being addressed. So we thought that one of the things we ought to empower this group to do is to report, in their report, these things are still outstanding. It's been 2 years or 3 years or 4 years that they have mentioned these things to us and we haven't done it. Things like purchase orders. The town doesn't use a purchase order system. And hoping that by forcing them to mention it on an annual basis in the report, it will give a little more impetus for certain changes to be made.
Steve?
This one changes the bylaw without a petition to the general court.
It doesn't change the bylaw. It adds to the bylaw something that's not there.
Bylaws.
And amend is to add, not to change what's there now.
Okay. But it's curious to me, Phil, that in one case.
Well, we'll find out. We can ask the town accountant,
That's all that
in the
is.
town council. I mean, it is either required or isn't required.
Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
Sorry, Michael.
Don't be sorry. Given that we're not going to discuss these for a couple of weeks, could we continue this conversation at a future meeting?
No.
Or move a lot
I mean,
faster.
we could ask. We'll move a lot faster. I would like to get through this quickly, just so people understand what's out there. Maybe we should come back to it. Maybe I'll make you a deal.
I'm listening.
everybody read it. And I'll put it back on the agenda in the near future. Maybe even for next week, okay? And we'll pick it up there.
Monday?
Wednesday.
We discussed
Not
this.
Monday?
Not Monday?
Maybe Monday.
Meeting Monday?
Think you got, yes, we are meeting Monday and Wednesday. Wednesday, we have the Council on Aging and the cemetery and retirement, those three budgets on Wednesday.
Let's maybe this for Wednesday.
And we're meeting Monday?
Please.
Yes.
And Monday is police.
No.
No, Monday we'll probably put this on the agenda, and we still need to review internally the library budget and the DPW budgets. So I think we have plenty to do, and yes, this will go faster if
Everybody's got it.
if we're up to speed on it. That would be great. Thank you for that suggestion, Lee. I hadn't realized what that was.
Do we have a DPW budget?
We do not have the DPW budget yet. I am
Yeah.
expecting it any minute now. There were some problems with it, and then over Christmas, when Joe was going to look at it, there was a death in his family, and I did sit down with him. This was last week. For a couple hours, and gotten some of it done, revisions done, and the rest should be done very soon. You will have to run it by the Board of Selectmen again, I believe, because it's a change to one of the budgets. But that shouldn't hang up our. So, Paul.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you all for coming.